of us to enable us to fulfill our duties as a port, core duties, bringing in vessels, discharging cargo. If we do not take good care of that area, we would have been failing.
The harbour master at the port of Tema, Captain Francis Kwesi Micah, indicated that systems are in place to keep the port safe in line with the International Ship and Port Facility Code.
The protection of the facility and the various properties belonging to all interested parties. It is not just the staff in here. We have other stakeholders. We have the stevedore. We have other state institutions like GMA, BNI, and all of them. We need to ensure that once they are in this enclave, they are well protected. And as such, the response procedure aims to provide guidance to staff in case there's an emergency. How do we go about it?
The general manager in charge of estate and environment at GPHA, James Benjamin Gazy, said the Port Authority has embarked on an initiative to promote responsible consumption and waste management.
So we're trying as much as possible to segregate some of the waste. We started segregating papers at the headquarters level. We escalate this to the port, entire port level. That's why we wanted our stakeholders here to join us so that when we start this project, you all help us to achieve the result.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is planting 1,000 trees in Tema in support of the National Green Ghana project. The tree planting exercise, which has already commenced, will cover areas within the Port of Tema enclave, as well as a few residential areas within the Tema township. The authority is partnering a non-governmental organization, Coastal Conservancy Organization, for the planting exercise. The tree planting exercise coincides with GPHA's ISO and Environment Week. Speaking at GPHA's symbolic launch of the tree planting campaign, the Director General of the authority, Michael Lugoje, stated GPHA's commitment to the nation's green agenda.
Essentially, we don't need anybody to tell us the importance of the earth. We are human beings existing because the earth exists. So anything we do that extinct the earth means that we will also be extinct. And we do appreciate that the fact that it is raining, we are enjoying the rains. We need trees for shade. We need trees to help us ensure that we contain global warming and its negative effects.
The Minister of Transport, Kweku Fore-Siama, in a speech read on his behalf by his deputy, Frederick Obeng Adom, called for continuous nursing of the plants to increase their chances of survival.
Climate change, as we all are aware, has become a very topical issue, being discussed globally with the organization and countries doing all they can to reduce this impact and human existence. This is a popular saying that when the last tree dies, the last man dies. And this is something we must all collaborate to prevent. Let us all get involved and make sure that as we live here, we cultivate the habit of making sure we make Ghana green.
Last year, the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, launched the Green Ghana project as a deliberate effort to encourage afforestation. The minister said, out of 7 million trees planted last year, 6.3 million have survived. He said this year's target is 20 million trees.
All right, so welcome back. Those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week, and the focus was on the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. It's now time for us to take a look at the global stage. What's happening there in the port and shipping sector?
Russian forces have reportedly damaged a giant grain terminal complex at the port of Mykolaiv, Ukraine, Europe top diplomat confirmed on Monday, June 6, 2022. The Russian missile strike has destroyed Ukraine's second biggest grain terminal, making it the latest contribution to the global food crisis. According to Ukraine's South Operational Command, the missile attack came from Russian aviation assets operating over the Black Sea. The command claimed that it shot down 2 cruise missiles, but others struck port facilities and grain storage silos. The Nicoterra port complex at Mykolaiv is a private terminal about 30 nautical miles inland from the Black Sea on the Bug estuary. The port's silos have capacity for up to 500,000 tons of grain at a time and it is equipped with 3 bulk loading machines to move up to 1,500 tons of grain per hour. In years past, it has handled up to 6 million tons of grain, soybeans, and oilseeds annually. Norwegian digital solutions provider Kongsberg Digital and Swiss MSC, the world's largest container shipping company, have signed a contract for digitalizing MSC's entire fleet, consisting of approximately 500 vessels with Vessel Insight. As reported by World Maritime News, the 5-year agreement includes delivery of Kongsberg Digital's data infrastructure service, Vessel Insight, and Kongsberg Digital's vessel performance application on the entire MSC's owned fleet, consisting of approximately 500 vessels plus options. By using Kongsberg Digital's vessel-to-cloud data infrastructure Vessel Insight, MSC will be able to achieve more transparency and improved utilization of data. French shipping and logistics major CMA CGM has placed its first order for methanol-powered vessels in an effort to expand its energy mix and become carbon neutral by 2050. The company revealed it decided to order a total of 6 15,000 TEU dual-fuel methanol-powered container ships from an unnamed shipbuilder. The new builds are planned to join the CMA CGM fleet by the end of 2025. In addition to the 6 methanol-fueled ships, CMA CGM also ordered 10 dual-fuel liquefied natural gas-powered vessels, bringing its order book to 69 ships. The French company has been so far primarily focused on ordering LNG-fueled vessels to reduce atmospheric pollutant emissions. However, it is now diversifying its energy sources by joining its counterpart Maersk in ordering a methanol-powered fleet.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry on the international stage. It's now time for us to zoom into our discussion proper tonight. And tonight, we're taking a look at how we can safeguard our oceans for a sustainable marine sector in Ghana. In the course of the week, Ghana joined the rest of the world to mark International Oceans Day. And here in Ghana, the Environmental Protection Agency organized a seminar to mark the day. And so we want to examine what it is that we can do to ensure a sustainable marine sector for our country. And so tonight we have in the studios Madam Joelle Kujawu, who is the acting director in charge of natural resource at the Environmental Protection Agency. Madam Joelle Kujawu, acting director, Natural Resources, Environmental Protection Agency. Also in the studios is Mr. Albert Derek Fiatui. He is the executive director of the Center for International Maritime Affairs Ghana. Executive Director, Center for International Maritime Affairs Ghana. This is not his first time in the studios. He's been here several times. Derek, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Your first time here?
Yes.
Absolutely. We're delighted to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy New Year is in order.
Happy New Year.
All right. So before we begin the discussion, I think that I took a look at a read at some issues that President Akufo-Addo raised in Glasgow. That was in 2021 when he went for the when he delivered Ghana's statement at the UN Climate Change Conference. He said something about the oceans. I just want us to listen to it so that to guide our discussion as we move on. He says, this one is from the presidency, the Communications Bureau at the presidency. It says, reiterating Ghana's commitment to managing sustainably her oceans as the historic transformation document that was launched in December 2020 enjoins the country to do, the president added that the country is putting in place the requisite structures and processes to finalize a sustainable ocean plan by 2025. Now, the pressing threats, that's quote, the pressing threats we face are marine security due to the prevalence of piracy and armed robbery on our seas, the mounting menace of illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing, IUU, overfishing and its attendant decline in fish stocks, and the plastic pollution. That was the president. Again, he says, as Ghana deals with these challenges, in partnership with the United Nations Division for Ocean Affairs and Law of the Sea, we are also conducting an ocean governance study to help us strengthen our legal and institutional framework for ocean management. In addition, the president noted that to help reduce the excessive pressure of exploitation and to replenish Ghana's failing marine fish stocks, just as was done, that was in 2020, he told the gathering that Ghana has implemented a closed season for artisanal and industrial fishing. Quote, the results have been a phenomenal success, and we intend to continue to implement this policy with huge positive dividends over the medium term. We must leverage our collective political influence, build strong partnerships and business leaders and influencers in civil society to drive effectively the implementation of the transformation document by all countries. That was President Akufo-Addo in 2021 in Glasgow. And so I just want to find out from you, World Oceans Day, the Environmental Protection Agency, the lead agency when it comes to issues of environment, organized a seminar, to mark this particular day. Can you tell us about this particular seminar and what transpired there? What were some of the highlights you want to share with us?
Thank you very much. It was a debate that we organized at the Trust Emporium, and it was to raise awareness about the importance of the ocean and the need for us to conserve it sustainably. And we all know the importance of the oceans to our well-being. It regulates the climate. It also provides us with our sustenance. We have our food. We get our food from the oceans. We also get mineral resources from the oceans. The oceans also host a vast array of plants, animals, and microorganisms that are all important to us. So it was important for us to raise this awareness about its importance. And also the need for us to protect it sustainably. And it is our individual and collective action that has to do that. So that was what we did at the Bukum Trust Emporium last Wednesday.
Who was one of the stakeholders you invited to this particular
So we invited GPHA, we invited the Fisheries Commission, we invited the district assemblies, we invited some MESTI, we also invited Ministry of Transport, all the stakeholders that have something to do in the marine environment, not forgetting the CSO, like Yempuanu and others.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So International Oceans Day is marked all over the world on this particular day. And Ghana, like you rightly said, was not left out. You organized a deba, to commemorate it. How important is this particular day?
It is very important because it was set aside by the United Nations in 2009. And it is important because it is the day that the whole world raises awareness on the oceans. And so it is important that Ghana too marks the day to raise the awareness on the oceans. Yeah.
All right, so let me come to Mr. Fiatui and find out from Mr. Mark. You are a think tank, and I know you have perhaps done a lot of work with respect to our oceans.
Exactly.
What's your observation in terms of our performance?
Thank you very much, and good evening to our viewers once again. What I would say briefly is that we've not done too bad, but there is a lot of room for improvement. As we all know, the ocean covers about 70% of the Earth's surface. And so we depend heavily on it. And that is why sometimes we say that the ocean is the biggest environment of the Earth. And so we have been working a lot on the oceans and the maritime sector. And our observation so far is that a lot is happening which is not helping the ocean. So we are excited as a center to collaborate with EPA and other stakeholders, and of course the United Nations to observe the World Ocean Day, which is a day that is to allow us to educate people and to create the awareness on the importance of the oceans. Without the oceans, there is little we can do as a people in terms of survival. About 40% of people live along the coastal communities in the world. And those fortunate people who are around the ports get a lot of benefits. We have landlocked countries that are not directly in control of our marine space. And they only benefit from the high seas, which is called the common heritage. So those of us who are privileged to be along the coast, we are supposed to take good care of the oceans and make sure that whatever we do, the sea returns it to us, or the ocean returns it to us in form of what we benefit from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what are some of the issues that you mentioned that a lot has happened, or a lot happens as far as the oceans are concerned, and you are working in league with some other organizations?
Yes.
What are some of the things, negative things that you have observed as impacting negatively on our oceans?
The major issue has to do with pollution. And you know, pollution mostly is from land.
Yeah.
There is a classical case that we always cite. When you go to Nungwa, there is a gutter there that connects through Regional Maritime University to the sea. You'll be shocked that there are lorry tires, fridges, nose masks, and anything plastics.
Electronic waste,
Everything,
plastic waste.
everything. And the danger is that these things, when they go into the sea, the fish ingest them, and you know our food, seafood, is from the sea, and we intend to it poses a lot of danger to us. We are talking about cancer. We are talking about a lot of diseases, and we don't know where they are coming from. It's from these places. So there is a need for a lot of education to be done in that regard, so that people are aware. A lot of people do these things ignorantly. So we are supposed to educate our people, even farmers. You know, they do a lot of things that are, you know, taken into the sea, and it destroys the environment. The marine environment.
Right. Let me come to Madam Kujawa and find out from you. Do you think there's enough awareness on the dangers and the negative impact of, you know, marine pollution in our country?
Yes. There are. We've created a lot of awareness. Awareness is the core mandate of EPA, and so wherever we go, we create awareness about the negative impacts of our activities on the ocean. And even for fishing like this, when the fishermen go fishing now, they don't get the catch they used to get formerly. So they are aware that their actions are negatively impacting on the environment. And like my colleague said, when you go to the ocean environment, especially when it rains, all the garbage goes into the sea. And it is something that everybody sees. It's not something, it's not news. And we always show it on telly when it rains, and people see that our activities are impacting on the environment. And so we have to change. We even now have a new invasive species, that is the Sargassum, also coming from the Sargasso Sea, also impacting on our marine environment. And this is also one issue we have to look at.
Now, he mentioned the fact that 40% of people live around the coast, coastal belts, and they depend, their livelihood depends on the oceans and all that. I just want to find out from you, what must we be doing as a country to ensure that these people don't lose their livelihoods? Because basically, they are dependent on the oceans.
Yes, the main growing concern when it comes to the ocean environment is marine litter. And as my colleague said, marine litter comes from land-based sources. All our waste, we dump it inappropriately, and it all ends up in the ocean environment. So I think that is one key thing we have to tackle. The whole world has to tackle marine litter. Because I read from literature that in the 1950s, we were producing about 1.5 million tons of plastics. But as at 2017, we were producing 400 million tons of plastics. And with this, about only 9% is recycled. All the rest goes into our oceans. And when it goes into our oceans too, the fishes, they ingest the plastics, and then they die because the plastic gets into their guts. They cannot breathe, they cannot eat, and at the end of the day, they suffocate and die. So that is one key thing we are supposed to tackle. And this year, UNEA, United Nations Environment Assembly, they came together and they decided to have a legally binding document on plastics, and they have started discussion on that. And I hope that when that one comes into fruition, all countries will now implement the actions in that legally binding agreement that is being negotiated.
Mr. Fiatui, CIMAG, Center for International Maritime Affairs Ghana, have you conducted any research, so to speak, to, as it were, take stock of what is happening in our oceans?
Yes, of course. We've done some research, and we've collaborated with some other international organizations to look into activities affecting the oceans. One very important one that we were very much involved in was one that we did at Anyangwi, Volta in the Kita Ramsar site.
Right.
And when we got there, we realized that, the mangroves are very important when it comes to marine ecosystem protection.
Absolutely, yes.
We found out through research that the mangrove over there is not owned by government. The mangroves were planted by the people in the community.
Okay.
And so they continue cutting the mangroves for firewood and other economic uses. And when we raised the issue, they said, of course, they don't have any other livelihood, and these are mangroves that they have planted. So who will come to tell them that, no, they are protecting the marine environment and also the fishes in the sea? They don't even understand the technicalities.
Yeah.
So we think that it is important government goes in to take over the place, educate the people, even though the people planted those mangroves, take over it and make sure that the use benefits the people and the ocean in general. We've also gone there to conduct some research for the creation of a marine protected area. Unfortunately for us, we've done a lot of work with a funding agency. And what came out was that as a country, we don't even have a legal framework for the creation of the MPA, the Marine Protected Area. And so we hit a snag.
Right.
So when it comes to the protection of the oceans, there is still a lot we have to do. There's a lot we have to do.
In the statement of the president that I read, which he mentioned in Glasgow, 2021, he made mention that we're putting together a document that would mature in 2025. Are you aware of that?
Yeah,
And what's the state of that particular, if you can bring us up to speed?
Yes, I'm aware. The Sustainable Development Unit of the Presidency, Office of the President, Dr. Owusu and his people,
right.
I was invited, or my team was invited to a program which was hosted online with the International Ocean Institute. And we were supposed to regroup to start work on the Sustainable Ocean Plan. As we speak, I've not heard from them yet, but I believe that, things are going on behind the scenes, and that will really materialize. And when that happens, it's going to help all of us greatly, because what we see currently is an amorphous management of the ocean by various agencies. The Ghana Maritime Authority is supposed to be the landlord of the oceans.
Yeah.
We have the Environmental Protection Agency. We have the Fisheries Commission doing something. We have the National Petroleum Authority, the GNPC, and even NCA, because of the fiber optic stuff they also put in the sea.
Yeah.
And all these are not very well coordinated. So when issues arise, you don't know who to go to.
Yeah.
So we think that there is a need for that integrated ocean governance policy that to allow for some level of coordination so that the ocean is well protected.
Integrated ocean governance
policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let me come to Madam. We cannot talk about international trade without talking about the ocean, import, export, and so on and so forth. We say 90% of trade is seaborne. What can we be doing? What should we be doing as a country to ensure that our seas are safe?
It's for the environment.
For international business.
For international business, in terms of the security.
Absolutely.
For international business.
Has the EPA done any work in this respect?
No, our interest is in the environment. When it comes to security issues, it's the Navy. Yes, so that is why my colleague said when it comes to the ocean environment, there are lots of institutions that play different roles. And it is important that we all come together and then holistically try and then manage the ocean environment. This is not happening, and it is now a difficulty for all of us. So I'm happy he spoke about the ocean governance policy that will guide our actions in the future. When it comes to marine security, EPA is not there.
Right. All right. In your initial submission, you did make mention of the fact that, yes, pollution is one of the biggest challenges we have. And that's the human factor. That's through human activity.
Yeah.
Apart from that, what are some of the human activities that further, impacts negatively our oceans?
Apart from that, we have the IUU fishing.
Illegal, unregulated, unreported
fishing, which is also being managed by the Fisheries Commission. And then we also have the seaweeds, which I spoke about. That one is EPA that is managing that aspect, and that is very, very key to us. We also have like pollution effluent from industries and others, which EPA also manages through our environmental impact assessment process, where we ensure that companies that discharge their effluents into water bodies discharge according to standards. And also, if like there is going to be any undertaking along the coast that impacts on the environment, then that undertaking is supposed to come to EPA for a permit. And when the permit is issued, we will ensure that they put in place mitigation measures to offset any likely impact on the environment. So that is what EPA does. Sometimes too, we collaborate with Forestry Commission in terms of the Ramsar sites along the coast to manage those sites. I must say that there are a lot of areas along the coast, like he said, that is orphan. I mean, nobody is managing it. And because of that, EPA, we are now developing regulations. And we are looking at those sensitive areas along the coast that is not being managed by anybody. We are trying to come up with regulations so that we'll be able to regulate those areas. I'm talking about like the estuaries, the lagoons, the beaches, the mangrove areas and all that. We want to manage those areas. Because for the Forestry Commission, apart from the Ramsar sites, the others, they don't manage it. It doesn't fall under their remit.
I'll come to the Ramsar sites, because of late it has generated some national interest and all that. But let me find out from you. I know the Ghana Navy and Maritime Authority, they have some vessels that patrols our waters. And even recently, government purchased about 2 or 3 vessels for the Navy, for these purposes. Do you play any role as far as, this kind of thing is concerned?
No.
You don't play any role?
No, we don't play any role.
Okay. So tell us, when you say a Ramsar site, what is it?
A Ramsar site is a site that has been internationally designated as a site, especially for the arrival of waterfowls from one country to Ghana. So it serves as a waterfowl habitat. And those sites are designated, but for its management, we should have like a wise use kind of management. It's a site that you cannot say that, okay, it has been designated, so nothing can go on. Activities can go on, but whatever activities go on there, it should be consistent with the site. So like you can do farming in the Ramsar site, it's consistent with the site. You cannot go and put up maybe like a hotel in the site. It's not consistent. But over the years, we've realized that most of our Ramsar sites are under serious threats. It is being encroached. And if you go to Sakumo Ramsar site now, it's a sorry sight to behold. And in fact, since 2014, EPA had some funding from United Nations Environment Program to rehabilitate the site. So we tried planting some trees there. The initial trees we planted didn't do well, so we settled on coconut trees, and we had about 50 acres of the site being rehabilitated with these coconut trees, and they are doing well. But as I speak now, because of the encroachment going at the site, most of these trees have been pulled down. And it is now beyond us. Yeah, it is now beyond us. So that's why
people developing.
Yes, developing. They are developing houses there. They are changing the place. They are filling the site and then developing various houses there.
Wow.
Yes.
No, do you have an idea as to how many Ramsar sites we have in Ghana?
We have 5 Ramsar sites.
All in Accra or spread across the country?
It's spread across the country. So we have the Songo in Adan, we have the Sakumo in Accra, we have the Densu in Accra. We have the Moni Pomazi in Cape Coast, and then Owabi in Kumasi. Those are the 5 Ramsar sites that we have.
Thank you very much for that education.
Thank
I needed it badly, and I'm sure viewers and listeners also needed it. Even Albert, I'm sure, needed some bit of it.
Yes.
Right. So you mentioned the integrated ocean governance policy that you want government to come up with. Do you think that we have enough policies in this country to engender some kind of protection of our marine or resources or oceans?
No, we don't have enough. And mostly when you talk about policies, people say that, oh, we have a lot of laws on paper and they are not being enforced. So why are you talking about new laws or
policies,
new policies? But unfortunately or fortunately for us, as a democratic country, you cannot just get up and start doing anything. So we need laws and policies to be able to move forward with anything that we want to do. So when it comes to policies, let's say the maritime sector, as it is, even doesn't have a policy. We don't have a national maritime policy aside the ocean governance policy that I spoke about.
Right.
So we need to make sure that we work hard to get these things on paper and then think about how we are going to implement and enforce them. If we don't do those things, then we are not making any headway. That is the first step we need to take in order to be able to initiate anything at all that we want to do to protect ourselves. The maritime industry is big. For me, it's the biggest of all the industries, and so it requires a policy in Ghana to be able to move forward if we really want to benefit from it. Yes.
Right. Okay, so let me come to you. You did make mention of some of the issues, militating against our oceans, making them, not what they should be. Now, according to the United Nations, a growing threat to the health of the ocean is marine litter, of which 80% is from the land-based sources. What is the situation, our situation as a country?
I don't think our situation differs from the global situation because, as you know, we dispose of our waste indiscriminately, yes. And so that is the key factor affecting us. We have to work closely with the district assemblies to ensure that we dispose of our waste properly. And if we dispose of the waste properly, then they will not end up in the ocean. We know that in Ghana, when it rains like this, people come out of their homes and then pour their waste into the rivers to end up in the water bodies. So it is not good.
Yeah.
It is not
good. You mentioned indiscriminate waste disposal, and this is, like you rightly said, something. Sometimes you drive on the motorway, you get to a certain spot, and it's like deliberately over the night or at dawn, somebody just went there and put a thing there and then vamoosed and sublimed, went into thin air, and it becomes a menace, an eyesore, and all those things. Do you have a policy that regulates how these waste should be disposed? And are there punitive measures for people, like when you are caught in the act, when you become intransigent and you are found out, can you be punished?
Yes, I think there is a sanitation policy. Yes. So the policy is there. When it comes to waste management, it's the responsibility of the district assemblies. And I'm sure the district assemblies bylaws have punitive measures. But enforcing those laws is the problem. What EPA does is that we have guidelines that we develop, and then we assist the district assemblies on ways to dispose these waste properly. So we go and then train them as to where to site the landfill sites, how to develop landfill sites and others. But when it comes to the actual management of the disposal, is the district assemblies that are responsible, and I'm sure they are also doing their best. Sometimes some of these things it requires funds, and we know the district assemblies, sometimes they are also stressed, so we have to also support them to be able to do their work well, so that the environment will be nice and neat for all of us.
Now, talking about the marines, the oceans, I know we have some organizations in Ghana that are into cleaning some of the coast, some of the oceans along the coastal belt. One is Coastal Conservancy Organization, CCO. And the other is Dredge Masters. You know, they are also dealing with some this along the Pram area and all that. And they are looking for more business. Like they want to put pen to paper by government to give them the green light to go ahead and to, you know, clean these areas. What is your role in terms of identifying some of these companies and empowering them to, you know, ensure that our oceans are clean?
Okay, so EPA for this this year's World Environment, what we did was that we worked closely with the collectors, those who collect the rubbish,
right,
and also worked with the recyclers. Now we want to create that chain that when they collect the waste rubbish, the recyclers will take it and then they will reuse it. But as to the Conservancy and others, they have approached EPA. We are working with them. They are looking at the business aspect, and I know they are working with some institutions outside to bring on board equipment others. I think the Ministry of Environment is working with them. But for EPA, we are also interested in the quantity of the rubbish that they collect, but because we also have to report to the UN as part of the SDGs. So it is something that we are now developing. We are working with them, and we hope that in future we'll be able to fashion out a proper way of dealing with those people.
Mr. Fiatwi, you might want to share with us if you know some countries and how they've been able to deal with people who pollute the marine environment. Our country seems we're a bit laxed when it comes to even though we have agencies like the Navy, we have the Maritime Authority, who are constantly on the watch out and look out for intransigent vessels that, you know, call our waters and all that. I mean, do you think that we have enough punitive measures to be able to deter intransigent people who would want to pollute our marine environment?
Yes, of course, we have the measures in place. It's just that people are intransigent, as you said, and sometimes law enforcement too is not very effective, if I can put it that way. And so people take things for granted. One key measure that has been put in place when it comes to especially shipping is the MARPOL Convention, the International Convention on Prevention of Pollution from Ships. And everybody who is in the shipping industry knows that when you go against some of the rules, there is severe sanction and punishment. So they are minded. But in our part of the world, we take a lot of things for granted because we have the IUU happening here, and a lot of other things that, you know, you wonder whether people who are involved in those things or engaged in them even knows the effect of them. Because most at times, for instance, the IUU, the illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, is done by people who are industry players. So they know the effect, and yet they go ahead and do it. So it's to do with our own attitudes. There's a need for attitudinal change for me rather than punishment necessarily. So that is what I think we should be looking at mostly.
You think there's enough awareness creation with respect to marine pollution?
For that, I would say no. A lot of people are very ignorant about the effect of marine pollution. They think that when they throw their rubbish or garbage around, I mean, it ends there. They don't know that it goes into the ocean and affects all of us. And also because they are not aware that 70% of the Earth's surface is the oceans.
Right.
So for them, it's just business as usual. Just when it's raining, go and dump your rubbish anywhere. It will go into some gutter. But in the end, it ends up in the ocean, and it affects all of us.
Well, Alfred Derrick Fiatwi is the Executive Director, Center for International Maritime Affairs, Ghana, CIMAC, and also Albert Derrick Fiatwi, yes. And also in the studios, Madame Joel Kujawu, who is Acting Director, Natural Resources, Environmental Protection Agency. And tonight we are discussing how to sustain our oceans, how to safeguard our oceans for a sustainable marine sector, safeguarding our oceans for sustainable marine sector. We're going for a quick break. When we bounce back, we'll continue with the discussion. Please stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating great opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
You're welcome back. We are going to go into the discussion once again, but pretty shortly we shall be coming your way with the messages that you have sent to us. There are tons of them coming in, and we shall be sharing them with you and seeking some responses, eliciting some answers from our guests in the studios. But I just want to find out from Madam Kujau how you are collaborating with other stakeholder agencies to develop action plans and policies, for this industry and to ensure a sustainable, as it were, ocean sector or marine sector in our country.
Thank you very much. The EPA is partnering with Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation and other stakeholders like the Fisheries Commission, the district assemblies, and all stakeholders that have something to do with the ocean environment to develop an integrated ocean management policy for Ghana. We've just started. Currently, we have a working group that have put the drafts together, and the drafts will be taken to stakeholders to review, so that they will also provide their inputs, and then we'll revise the draft document before we take it to cabinet. So we are working on a policy for the ocean environment.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so let's go straight into the inbox. This one says, good evening. By the way, I've been told that we can activate the phone lines now. The number to dial is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Now, this one says, good evening. Sometimes when it rains heavily, you see some plastic waste passing through the big gutters and find their ways into the sea. Can't there be any measures to stop all these wastes that goes or flows into the sea? This one is from Mahmoud Kamara. It says, greetings to yourself, Solo, Senior Chief Driver Abeku, and also to my Madam, Mrs. Esther Jebidonko, and to all the staff inside GPHA headquarters. Well, thank you very much indeed for watching, Mr. Mahmoud Kamara. We are grateful to you for your message. This one says, please, what is the cause of the seaweeds in our sea these days? This one is from Eric Ewule Aka from Benin. I don't know whether it's Benin or Benin. Benin, okay, sure, right. Would you give him some response? He says, what's the cause of the seaweeds? Yeah.
Yes, so the seaweeds that we see currently along the shoreline is called Sargassum. And
Sargassum?
Yes, Sargassum.
Okay.
And we did a bit of research to find out where it is coming from, because in our coast we have Sargassum species. But what is coming now is not what is native to Ghana. And we noticed that it is coming from the Sargasso Sea, which is east of the south of the Atlantic Ocean. There is a small sea that we call the Sargasso Sea, and it harbors a lot of this Sargassum. And researchers are saying that it may be due to a change in ocean current that is bringing these weeds along. In fact, it's along the western coast of Africa. It's in the Caribbean and part of South America.
Right.
So it's not only in Ghana that we are experiencing this massive seaweed invasion. And it is something that is being worked on. It is very difficult to handle. And so EPA is thinking about ways of managing it. And we are developing a document. We will bring it around to the stakeholders to also refine, so that next time when it happens, we know how to handle.
Go about it, okay.
Yes.
Right. This one is from Ohima in Tema. She says, good evening, Iron Port. Insightful discussion. EPA owes shippers, as traders and their agents, lots of education and sensitization. Encountering them during clearance has so far been trade frustration instead of trade facilitation. Special greetings to Mr. Fiatui. Well, I think she's talking about the clearance chain in the port, and when they get to your bit, that's the EPA.
Oh, okay.
I think they encounter challenges, and that's what maybe you would want to give us some assurance that going forward, things might be well.
But I've taken note of it, so I will inform the department.
Right.
Yes.
Great. Ohima, you've heard, Madam. She says she's taking note, and she would inform the appropriate department, and I'm sure they would probably want to reach out to you and then educate and sensitize you. And perhaps going forward, when you get to their bid, it will be smooth flowing. This one says, good evening, Madam Kujawu and my brother Albert Fiatri. Great work for educating us on the marine sector and the environment, as well as sustainable and maintaining our environment and ocean. As far as sustainable and maintaining our environment and ocean is concerned, God bless you all and the host as well. Thank you very much. There's no name attached to this one. This one says, for the past 2 years, in some parts of Ghana, areas like Accra, Kumasi, people build houses along the marine centers. What measures is the EPA putting in place to stop them? This one is from Nangwe Nuri. Gervais. Nangwe Nuri in my language means God's hands. Gervais is sending this one in from Jirapa in the
marine centers.
Yes. I'm sure he's talking about the coastal areas or some waterways and all that, yeah.
Coastal areas. Because in Ghana, the land belongs to schools. Sometimes people give out areas that they are not supposed to give out. But when it comes to building houses and others, EPA, we don't play any role in it. It's the district assemblies that give the permit. So I'm sure the district assemblies are listening, and then they will ensure that those who are building along waterways and along the marine spaces where they are not supposed to, they will not give them the permits to do so. Yeah.
All right. Ohima from Telsha asks, please add that they should take a cue from the Ghana Standards Authority and the Food and Drugs Authority and Free Zones Board as well. So she says you guys, EPA should learn from the Ghana Standards Authority and Food and Drugs Authority as well as Free Zones. I think that when they get to their bit, things are smooth sailing.
Okay. Thank you.
Fluid.
Noted.
So she wants you to.
Okay.
And she says, I like the response to my message. Thank you. So she's happy. You have assured her that things are going to change. You are going to draw the attention of the appropriate, as it were, unit so that they can take it up. This one says, good evening, Iron Port. Please ask Madam Jewel to educate us on what natural resources in our country are, particularly in Ghana. This one is from Isaac Kofrodia.
Oh, so natural resources are the living things around us, the forest, the water, the sea, every living thing that's, gives life. It's natural resources. So broadly speaking, plants, animals, the forest, the water bodies and the organisms in them, the sea and the organisms in them, every living thing is a natural resource. So, but minerals are not part of natural resources because they are finite.
Right.
Yeah. And they are not living. So minerals are excluded.
Right. Well, they can be found in the forests.
Sorry?
They can be found in the forests.
Yes, but they are not living.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no
breathe.
life, yes,
right.
in them. Yeah.
Okay, so let me come to you, Mr. Fiatui, and this time let's talk about a bit about emissions.
All right.
Emissions, the vessels that call our port and all that.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier on, we have the Navy and the Ghana Maritime Authority trying to ensure that vessels do not pollute our, waters and all that. We just want to find out from you what we can be doing to ensure that we minimize the impact of these things. Sometimes they wander into our waters, deliberately do it, and leave, and we are left to, bear the brunt.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think one very great step that has been taken with regards to the emission by ships is the sulfur issue that was introduced in 2020, where the IMO has insisted that all ships should not take marine fuel with more than 0.050 of sulfur content. It used to be 3.50. And largely, I think all of them are complying. And it's a great step in that direction. With our ports, I think port control, the Navy and all other stakeholders involved in monitoring ships that come into our waters are doing a great deal of work, even though there is still much to be done.
Right.
One proposition that we are making from our center in all this is not only on the emission, is the getting of a research ship for the country. Not vessels that are bought for Navy, Marine Police, and there is research ship, which is able to do a lot of work on the sea to uncover so many things, including the emissions that we are talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let me come to you, Madam. What role is the EPA playing with respect to the marine protected area, designating a place for marine protected area in our country? I know there's one in the pipeline. What role are you playing, and how far have we come with this?
Okay, so the Ministry of Fisheries, they have the lead role to designate marine protected areas, but they have to do that with the support of the ministry. And so for EPA, what we have done is that, I know that for Fisheries Commission, what they have done is that they have identified some potential sites that could be used as MPAs. But those sites need to be further studied, because before you designate a site as MPA, you have to do a bit of studies for you to meet the criteria for the area to be designated as MPAs. But for EPA, we were supported by a project through the Abidjan Convention, and what we did was to pilot the description of ecologically and significant biological areas. And in doing that, we were able to describe 3 areas, but we focused in the western region. So we have, I think in 2016, we saw a coral reef at the western block of Ghana. So we described the coral reef area as one of the sites. Then we also have some resting spots where fish come, they spawn, they sleep. We have cetaceans also breeding in those areas. So we also described those areas as potential MPAs. And then we also looked at some mangrove areas as potential MPAs. For now, that is what we have done. What we have done is just like a scientific kind of thing, a description. But we hope that it will provide an avenue for us to look into it in details and then designate those sites as MPA. For what fisheries is doing now, I don't have an idea about it. I know they have a lot of potential sites which they intend working further on. Yeah.
Coral reef, what is it?
Coral reef is like a forest in the sea. Yes. So for us in Ghana, we didn't know that we had that in our waters, but it was in 2016 that the Fijob Nansen ship sighted one. And this coral reef, it harbors a lot of biodiversity, a lot of microorganisms. Fishes go there to feed, cetaceans, a lot of things. So those habitats are very good habitats for the marine environment. And wherever it is, internationally, it's important that we protect those areas. Yeah.
All right. So let me come to Mr. Fiatui. Again, when the president was speaking in Glasgow in 2021, he mentioned piracy as one of the things that we're grappling with. So far, around this time, what can you tell us about it? Are we seeing a reduction, or we are still, up there?
Last year, the figures that came out were not so good. There was an increase in the rate of piracy, especially in the Gulf. And we are currently attributing it to a lot of vessel movement into our waters. And, these criminals are always looking out for where, they can do the worst. So it's not looking good. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And again, I would say that CIMAG have done some work. And our proposition is that we get some air monitors to be able to track these bad guys who are causing a lot of harm and deterring vessels from coming into our waters. Yes.
Air monitors. I know you made mention earlier that you are in league with, some agencies working with them towards fashioning our policies and all that. You also indicated that you were called by Mr. Usu and his, people, Dr. Usu, president and all that. And sometimes when you meet them and you put forward some of these propositions and advise them on the way to go, what response do you get from them? Are they forthcoming to support you in order to get these things done?
Yes, I would say that at their individual levels or capacities, they know that whatever you suggest or propose as a research body is true. But when it comes to funding of those proposals, it becomes difficult, and they are also not able to go further. So the challenge we have is to do with resources. So as an organization that is into research, we sometimes look at bodies outside the country, international donors, who we can partner with in collaboration with state agencies to be able to get some of these things done. What we require from them, as you mentioned, is that they should listen to us, they should collaborate with us more, because everything we propose, everything we put out there is based on scientific research and data. And we are all in the space making sure that it's good for us and we benefit from it.
You mentioned air monitors. Do we have some in Ghana already, or we are yet to
We don't have any in Ghana.
Inject that technology in our.
We don't have it. We don't have it in Ghana. But we are learning from successful maritime countries, and some countries have that. So we are only saying that we can replicate that in our country, and those countries that have been able to do that are safe. So if we are really serious about making sure that piracy is curtailed, then it's only good that we go and replicate what they have done to be able to succeed, so that we can also have our waters safe for international business.
Madam, you mentioned the fact that yes, you are doing a lot. I mean, you catalogued a series of things that you are doing and all that. But I just want to find out from you what the EPA is doing to join the global efforts to ensure a reduction in the pollution of the marine seabed.
Okay, so thankfully, the ministry now has a plastic policy in place, which they intend rolling out. And one of the key actions is behavioral change, which means we have to create a lot of awareness as to how we dispose of our waste. The second aspect is also innovative ways of managing plastics, because we have to recycle the plastics. Those we can recycle, we should be able to recycle them so that it will not end up in our water bodies. So they are working with some recyclers to come out with innovative ways to do that. I know also that some recyclers also are producing some products like roofing sheets. Some are also producing blocks from plastics, and even at the ministry they have showcased some of these things that they want people to use
to encourage recycling.
Yes, to encourage the recyclers. So we are doing a bit. We are also encouraging segregation from our end, and the segregation we are piloting it in the ministry area and also some second cycle institutions.
GPHA, we are already doing segregation of some of our waste, and we're also doing recycling of some of the waste. What we use, the tissue paper we use in our headquarters building, is recycled from the waste that we generate at GPHA. And so we are already there.
Doing it. Okay,
exactly.
Good.
Good. So I think that it will be imperative that you impress upon other
agencies yes,
to
do that.
Follow
That's
suit.
why we started from the ministry area, and we hope to extend it. And we are also piloting it in some schools. And also we intend to come up with a take-back system where if you buy maybe this bottle from this is Belacqua, then you can take it back to Belacqua for them to reuse. And so that system too will be rolled out so that we can, because sometimes some people really want to take back the plastics, but they don't know where to take them to.
Well, when you come to GPHA, we have designated places where we put containers.
Okay.
These big container, whatever, and then you dump all the plastic waste there.
Okay.
And then so for easy collection. And I think that
but people, you see, what we have also noticed that you sometimes you have the bins, but people really do not. I mean, go
see the need to go there and then dump it there.
Even they will see plastic, they will put it in something else. So we all have to reconscientize our mind. You see, because to win this game, it is individual and also collective. If we all, conscientize our minds that we don't want the plastics to end up in our oceans because our oceans will die, then we have to.
You just mentioned segregation, and somebody has sent this message. Can EPA provoke a waste segregation law? This one is from Lawrence in Accra.
No, we cannot separate that alone. It's part of the policy, the plastic waste policy. Yes, it's part of it. So we cannot bring out, but as part of the policy, we are promoting segregation. Yes.
Okay. All right. This message says, how much does EPA and CIMAC know about the National Integrated Maritime Strategy? That's the names. What contributions did their outfits prefer pertaining to today's discussion? This one is from Ato in Tema.
Okay.
Let me start with you.
For CIMAC, very frankly, I've not been aware of that in the organization. So, but like I mentioned earlier, we have been invited by the SDG Office of the Presidency, and they are talking about Sustainable Ocean Plan. I don't know how that fits into the integrated maritime policy.
Maritime strategy. Yeah.
Yes. So
it's something we have to look at. Yes.
I think, like we are saying, there is the need for coordination, so that we can all together, do what is necessary.
Yes, but I know that some of the people involved in the SDG thing are part of the development of the policy.
Okay.
Like those in the academia.
Okay.
Yes, are part of it. And EPA too, we have a rep on the SDG thing, who is also part of us.
Okay.
So it's something that we have to sit down and then fashion out. And I know it's being spearheaded by NDPC.
Yes.
So we'll sit down and fashion.
Right.
Okay, this one says, good evening, I am Paul. Thank you very much for the education this evening. And regards to your guests, can the CIMAC man tell me what his opinion about our performance in Ghana's maritime industry is at the moment? This one is from Ernest in Kaswa.
Yeah, I don't know which specific area he's looking at.
Yeah,
but when it's about
maritime is broad, so
when it's about trade, which all of us or most of us think is the maritime industry in Ghana, we are not doing badly.
Yeah,
especially with the vessels coming into our waters. There's a lot of volume coming in, and trade is actually growing. And so far, we are winning in the sub-region when it comes to the port operations, and GPHA is doing greatly in that regard.
Yeah.
So to answer him directly, we are not doing badly.
Okay.
Yeah, we are not doing badly.
All right. Good evening, I am Port. Thank you very much. My name is Mary. I am in Tema. I just want to find out from Madam Jewel if this year's International Oceans Day was worth the celebration, given the challenges we are confronted with as a country.
Why not? It was worth the celebration because the purpose of the celebration is to create awareness, and we were able to achieve that.
Right.
And the theme for the day is revitalization, action for the oceans. So it means that, there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of action plans, a lot of instruments to resolve the challenges we have when it comes to the oceans. So now this year, the theme is that all the actions that we want to undertake locally, we should put in more energy, more vigor to do it. And I think it's good that we are re-echoing this aspect, and also we are highlighting it for people to be aware. So it is good that we are celebrating it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to add something about
yes,
yes.
To add to that, I think that the awareness creation is the most important thing to do.
Yeah.
And so now that a lot of people are getting to know that there is a day set aside to celebrate the ocean, they know the importance of it. We know 50% of the oxygen we breathe is from the oceans.
Yes.
About 40% of the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the ocean. The heat from the sun is taken into the ocean.
Yeah.
If not, we in Africa especially would have burnt by now.
Yeah.
So it is important that we highlight the ocean and what we benefit from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Still in the inbox, this one says, good evening, Ken, and good evening to your guests. I just want to find out from the EPA woman, that's Madam Kujau, what they are doing about the numerous pollution that we see in our oceans these days. It looks as if we are looking on unconcerned and these things are happening. What can we do to ensure that people do not come into our waters, pollute them, and then move without any recourse to the laws of our country?
The way he ended the question is what, but in terms of pollution, I think I have highlighted a lot of things we are doing. But I must say that in all this, it is not EPA alone. We are all involved. He is also involved. He's part of it, yes. We are all to ensure that we do the needful, what is expected of us. The waste that we throw around, we don't do it. And when we do that, our oceans will be preserved. Yes, so we are all involved. EPA, we cannot do much. We are doing what we can do. Yeah. And so we are all involved. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The EPA in times past had lamented insufficient resourcing to fulfill its mandate. Does the EPA currently feel well equipped in terms of funds and personnel to deliver on its mandate? If no, where do they need help in?
Okay. As for funds, it's been a challenge always. So we are doing our best. In terms of human resources, I think that's one too. It has improved, and so now we are even in area offices. Hitherto we were only in the regions, but now we are in the area. We have area offices, and for an area office, we take care of about 4 districts. So it is becoming better. But yeah, we can't do all.
Oliver Twist.
Yes.
You're asking for more.
Yeah, we are asking for more. Yes. More logistics.
Right,
yeah.
right. Okay, so Mr. Fiatui, I just want to find out from you. You have proposed the creation of the integrated ocean governance, policy, and you said that we need more policies in order to be able to ensure a very, very sustainable ocean in our country. What other things would you like to share with us as we take steps to wrap up the show tonight?
Thank you very much once again. What I would say is that we need a collective effort to be able to protect and preserve the oceans. Let's not lose sight of the fact that we depend so much on the ocean today, and the future generations also need to come and benefit from it, and that is all about sustainable development. So always at the back of our mind, let's of course use the ocean resources, but let's also make sure that we do not endanger those resources, and then tomorrow the future generations will not have anything to depend on. Let's make sure that the sustainable development goals are fully taken into consideration. The goal 14 talks about the conservation, sustainability of the resources and use, and so I mean let's keep talking about the oceans, its health, and then its sustainability, and it will be well with us.
Finally, are there any new things happening in the maritime industry across the globe that you think that we have to avert our minds to as a country?
Yeah, a lot is happening, and we are doing some work. I mean, and we are putting together a report. When that is ready, we'll put it out there.
Right.
We'll put it out there.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't want to sell your... Madam, so tell us about the EPA. What you will be doing, from now on, in terms of, preserving our oceans and getting the right things done.
From now on, I think I have highlighted a lot. What we will be doing is to implement the actions in the plastic policy. We have a lot of actions, and there's a project that will be running, and so we will implement all the activities to ensure that the marine environment, especially when it comes to plastics, we are able to manage it well. And also with the regulations that we are developing, we hope that when it's also passed, we'll be able to regulate some of the sensitive areas along the coast. Those areas that are like offense, we'll be able to regulate them. But I just want to say that we are all involved. This is individual and collectively. And EPA too, we are also collaborating internationally, because some of the issues we can't do it alone as a country, and so we are collaborating internationally to ensure that whatever is being discussed in the international circles, we are also involved, and then we try to domesticate the actions in the country.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. Madam Joel Kujawu is... You wanted to add something, Albert?
Yes. I want to just say briefly that the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, is visiting our offices on Tuesday.
Right.
There is a project that we made mention of some time back when the issue of tidal waves came around the Kita area.
Sure, yeah.
And we mentioned that the sea defense, as it is currently, is supposed to be a temporary measure and not a permanent solution to the problem. There are new technologies that can be used to protect the environment. And so we as a center are engaging the IUCN and other bodies, and when that is also done, I mean, the nation will get to know where we have gotten to.
Right. Thank you very much indeed, Albert Derek Fiatui, Executive Director, Center for International Maritime Affairs, Ghana, CIMAC, and then Madam Joel Kujawu, who is Acting Director, Natural Resources, Environmental Protection Agency. We thank you for gracing our report tonight. That was a very insightful discussion. We thank you very much indeed. And viewers, we thank you for keeping your dials logged here, for watching. God willing, next week we shall be coming your way again with another wonderful edition of Our Report. We say maximum respect to our sponsors. That's Ghana Revenue Authority, Goil Company Limited, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, and indeed Meridian Port Services. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. A bridge version of Our Report is aired every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television. My name is Kennedy Mona. Many thanks for watching. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition. Have a super week ahead.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.